Got it. And good afternoon. Wow, that ended fast. I have no idea what happened there. So anyway, I've been called. So today we are here to talk about the Congo. And our subject today, we're going to be talking about Kinshasa, the capital. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for, no matter what time it may be, and wherever you are located, I hope you're having a nice weekend. So let's talk about Kinshasa because I spent some time there when I was on my way back from uh, Loja, from drilling wells that I've been talking about. And so what I want to talk about today is Kinshasa because there was a Washington Post article uh, that they talked about the cities in Africa and how they're going to be become major mega cities, metropolitan areas in the world, uh, and by the 22nd century, 2100, which is a little over less than 80 years away, because their populations are really exploding. So, first thing I want to talk about though is give you some little quick thing. City, a little river, and it was formerly Leopoldville, which was named after the the king of that was the king of the Belgian Congo, and it's the third largest metropolitan area in Africa, just behind Lagos and Cairo. But it's listed as the most populous uh, city in Africa. So it's projected to continue that way. However, I've been going to the Congo ever since 1988 was my first time there, and so we always fly into Kinshasa. That's where the major international port is at, airport is at. They don't have a seaport there, but that's where the major international airport is located at. I've arrived there, and after leaving the airport, getting to the hotel, usually we try to fly out to the interior as soon as possible, not lingering around uh, Kinshasa. But lately, I've spent more time in the last, say, 3 years in Kinshasa that I've spent in the previous almost 20 years. I've spent more time there for various reasons, doing some work there, visiting people, and then also kind of stuck there waiting on transportation, either to go back to the States or go into the interior. So let's start off to tell my impression of Kinshasa. I really didn't like Kinshasa because it is a big city, and it's a very split city. You got some areas that's really nicely kept, and then you have some parts of the city that is really poor, dirt roads, sewers running down the street. So it's very, depends on where you're at. You you can either be in a modern city that you think you're back in the United States, and then some areas you'll be in, you know that you're in a third world country. So the big problem is poverty. Uh, this country is where three-quarters of the country makes less than $2 a day. A lot of those people still live in Kinshasa, and you can see them inking out a living, but there is a lot of richer people there, and they're mostly living in the downtown areas that was formerly the Belgium center of power and where all the Belgians lived at. So you have a poverty which makes the city kind of lopsided. The second thing is the infrastructure. The infrastructure, let's talk about electricity. The electricity goes on and off at times. It's not throughout the city. Some areas don't have electricity. Some areas do. And also, like I say, it goes out and you don't know whether it's coming back on within 2 minutes, 2 hours, or maybe a half a day. So also you have water. Water is probably not safe to drink. I've tested some of the water there, and it does have contamination, both bacteria and E. coli in it. So you best to, whether you get water from the city, is to boil it. But everybody don't have access to running water. The roads. The roads are not uh, in place. It's very congested because there's too many people in the city and too many cars. And so it takes you a long time to go, say, from the city center out to the airport and back and forth. Even there's crowds in the middle of the night still commuting and going into town and out of town. And finally, I would say, even though it's a major city, it probably has the best health facilities in the country, but those are still nowhere compared to some of the countries like South Africa, and even say uh, probably that's the closest country with the best health facilities is in South Africa. So there's a lot of people who can afford it. They go from Congo to South Africa for any type of treatment or whenever they're sick. And and also the health system in Congo live is broken from the standpoint of a lot of the doctors and nurses don't get paid, and so there's always strikes going on, and that's just the way of life. You'll see where nurses go on strike, doctors go on strike, and all that. So it's not a capital city that you would think of being a capital city. It has a lot of problems. So, from my standpoint, whether that's going to hinder uh, in the coming years, I think it will be. But recently, as I said, I've spent more time in Kinshasa, and I've noticed that there is a lot of good things going on in Kinshasa that I've kind of really enjoyed. And from what you'll be seeing, you can probably take a guess at what I was excited about. So I got a movie prepared, and then we can talk through the movie, and then we can take a look at it. Uh, okay, there we go. So first, I went out to a Phoenician dining facility located downtown, and as you can see, it's a high rise on top of office building and apartment building, and it really we were sitting outside. It was in July. Even though the temperature doesn't get cold, it stays about the same. It's only whether it's raining or not. But you can see it turn at night, and we was able to see into Brazzaville. Those bridges are actually in Brazzaville, so we was able to see those from Kinshasa, which is right across the river. Uh, but that was, really, something to see that I did not know, because the only way that you probably would have seen it if you were downtown, and I haven't spent a lot of time downtown at night. So, you know, that was just spectacular, being able to sit up on that restaurant and looking down at the city. Cars go by. There wasn't a lot of traffic on this street that night, and so it was, fantastic just looking at. And that was a different side of different view of Kinshasa that I had never seen before. So it was quite quite an experience. And so we dined, had a delicious meal. A group of us, most all would say Americans, we went out and had dinner, and it was a Phoenician place, and it was good, and the food was good, and just the ambiance of the city was most. Uh, it was just fabulous. And that gave me a different point of view of what Kinshasa is. But that is only if you have the money and the resources to partake in something like that, where probably the average Congolese would not be doing that. So then the next week went out, just a small group of us went over uh, to the Indian restaurant, had dinner, sitting out again, and that was fantastic. So you can see that what I enjoyed the most was visiting those places that had a dining, and it was just fantastic. I enjoyed it, and so my experience as far as food is concerned, it was really good. But as I said, Kinshasa has some problems, but you can see if you have the resources, money and transportation, you could enjoy the best of times in Kinshasa, where this is not something that the middle class, which is very small, you have I guess the curve in Kinshasa, you have quite a few rich people, then you have a fewer um, middle class people, and then you have a humongous large crowd of people who probably make maybe $5 a day, and then you have a group that makes less than makes $2 a day. So that is Kinshasa, but I've definitely changed my point of view uh, from the times that I've been there, and it was enjoyable, and I, you know, really, really was glad that I was able to do that with some friends, and they got a chance to see a different part of Kinshasa. So thank you all again for stopping by. If you have any comments, let's see if we have any comments, because no comments. So anyway, if you have any comments later, please drop them in the chat, and we will get them answered for you. Take care, be good, and take care of yourself and your family, and be kind to one another. And we will talk with you later.